currently live and practice in Bend, Oregon. I'm a fortune baby, which means I have been fortunate enough to practice this Buddhism my entire life, which has given me the opportunity to challenge many obstacles and work towards creating an absolutely happy life. But I didn't always appreciate that. I used to complain about everything in my life, and I lacked appreciation. I felt like a victim of my circumstances. When I did chant, I did so out of obligation, I lost my place, and doubt in my heart that it would make any difference. And my environment reflected that mindset. As President Ikeda said, if you practice faith, yet have an attitude of complaint, you will destroy your good fortune in direct proportion. Those who are full of complaint are not respected by others. From both Buddhist and secular perspectives, their behavior does not befit a wise or worthy person. And that's from Faith into Action. At 22, I married a man I hadn't known for very long. We were both in the Navy, and I thought it made good financial sense. Right away, I got pregnant with my daughter, Sophia, and I got out of the Navy. A few years later, I had my son, Elias. My husband was deployed often. Unfortunately, when he was home, he was verbally and emotionally abusive. I knew chanting could shift things in my life, and I was convinced it could save my marriage. Though I was attending meetings, chanting consistently, and studying, my relationship seemed to get worse instead of better. I was discouraged and sought guidance from a leader in faith, who encouraged me that I was doing everything right, and the universe was showing me the direction for my life. In 2003, my husband got physically violent for the first time. Instead of retreating, I knew I needed to take action. I quit my job the next day, took my kids, and moved to Utah to be close to family. My husband hired a lawyer and fought every aspect of our divorce. He refused to pay anything that had my name attached to it, including his car and our credit cards. I ended up having to declare bankruptcy. So it seemed that my idea to marry for financial security was not such a good idea. But I wasn't going to let these circumstances defeat me. While working as an assistant in the patent office at the University of Utah, I was heavily recruited for a legal assistant position at a law firm, a career path I wouldn't have thought I was qualified for. I turned into a long, multi-interview process, and they seemed very impressed by me. In the end, I didn't get the job. I got my hopes up only to have them dashed. I was completely confused as to why this had happened in my life. What was the point of it? Living in Salt Lake, the one thing I wanted more than anything was a happy, healthy relationship. I must have gone on over 100 first dates. Not kidding, all terrible. I even eventually reconnected with an old boyfriend from Bend, Oregon, which is where my mom lived. She'd been trying to get me to move back to Bend for years, so this guy was the push I needed. I began looking for jobs, and when you know it, I found a legal assistant job that I would have never applied for if it hadn't been for that job I didn't get. Thank you, law office. 1 week before the big move, the guy I was moving to be near sent me a text at 2 a.m. saying he'd met somebody else. I was devastated. I'd already accepted a job and had half my belongings in boxes. I decided to move anyway, and it was the best choice I've ever made. Even though it didn't work out, I'm still thankful to that man for giving me that shove I needed. Once I moved to Bend, I realized how horrible the rental market was. I couldn't afford a house to fit my needs, and because of filing bankruptcy less than 2 years ago, I wasn't able to buy a home. My kids and I ended up living in my mom's basement. I was frustrated and again feeling defeated, so I turned that frustration to the God's end. I chanted with the mindset that I'm 33 years old, I have a well-paying full-time job, I can't keep living in my mom's basement. I maintained my faith that circumstances would somehow change, but in reality, I didn't see a way out. Did I tell you my new boss is one of the coolest people I've ever met? She is. After working for her for only 4 months, she offered to buy me a house.
Oh my God.
She only asked that I pay her out-of-pocket costs, including interest, taxes, and insurance, until I could qualify to buy it from her. To accelerate my ability to buy my new home, I signed up for a program called Dream Savers through a local nonprofit. If you take a couple of their banking and savings classes and save $1,000 a year, they will match it ×3 for up to 3 years. So after 3 years, I will have $12,000 down on my house. My boss agreed to let me hold off on buying the house from her so that I can participate in that full 3-year program. And because I'm still only covering her out-of-pocket costs, my current rent is low enough that I'm still able to save in addition to that. While my financial security was solid, I was still struggling with finding a good, healthy relationship. One of our Ben members had received guidance about dating that she shared with me. Make a list of very specific traits you are looking for, put it on paper and on your altar. It had worked for her, so I decided to give it a shot. I started with about 10 things on my list. Every time I had a bad date, I added to that list, getting more and more specific about what I wanted. I eventually had 117 things. And some of the things were very specific, like doesn't wear camo in public and doesn't have an old man sounding name. Chatting with this list in sight gave me a very visual way to not let myself settle for anything less than I had deserved. I had truly reached a point in my life where I loved my life and would rather continue loving it on my own than be in another unhealthy relationship. While I've been living in Bend for about a year, one of my friends had been joking with me that I needed to get together with this mutual friend of ours, Tristan. Two of us got along great, but we never saw each other as anything more than friends. One evening, at a party, I made a comment jokingly to that friend that Tristan was one of the last good guys around and I should snatch him up before somebody else did. He looked me square in the face and said, "Yes, you should do that right now." I was speechless, which is a rare thing for me. So I took a deep breath, I pulled Tristan aside and asked him what he thought about an us, and his response was to kiss me. Because we'd been friends for a year, there was no awkward surprises that had been the foundation of my horrid dating career. He already got along with my kids and my family, and we had the same friends. After a couple weeks, I got brave enough to pull out my perfect partner list, and I honestly couldn't believe it. He matched 116 of the 117 things on my list. Even the weird stuff. We've been together for about 6 months and are now living together in the house my boss bought for me. Looking back, I could see how much the universe was showing me the right direction for my life. I am full of appreciation for these obstacles. In Letter to Masao, Nichiren Daishonin describes how obstacles like these will appear in the form of the Devil King to do everything in his power to prevent a person from attaining enlightenment or becoming happy. This includes summoning legions of devilish functions in the form of people you know, your community, and society at large. I have the actual Go Show framed near my altar to remind myself every day just what I'm up against in my mission to create an indestructibly happy life. My practice has afforded me the ability to do my own human revolution. I no longer live the life of a victim. I no longer complain, and instead have shifted my focus to be able to find the silver lining in any situation. Instead of living in fear of obstacles, I now live my life with the mentality of, in the words of one of my Myoho sisters, bring it on.